Hello, this is the Contest Fantasy Footy Show where we make way for the slider survivor draft instead of creating content. I'm Jesse. I like redraft. I'm with K-Man. He's a dual hat winner. We're your hosts. We like fantasy footy. You follow K-Man on Twitter at K-Man_TC Fantasy. You can follow me on Twitter at Contest Fantasy. K-Man, mate. How you doing? You've just come out of the
I've just come out.
Coliseum. That's the word.
It's nighttime now. It was daytime.
How bright was it outside?
it was daytime when it started.
You've transitioned from day guy to night guy.
It's a night guy.
Morning guy to night guy already. Yeah.
It was lengthy, but got there in the end. I'm not sure it's as good as my side as last year. I've gone a different.
You had a good side last year. You did pretty well last year, didn't you?
I did well. Yeah. I just don't know about this one. I don't know. Hey, mate, I've got a few things, a few little pre-pod chats.
Hit me.
Just wanted a big shout out to Bales, man. I don't know if you checked his notes after each game. Game was finished and bang, they were up and they were really good. So just the hardest working man out there, Bales. Just a cracking.
He's a good man.
Effort getting those notes out. Mate, just looking forward to opening round and getting that sneak peek. That's really going to put all these picks into place. And then finish that off by heading to the Gabba on Saturday night against the Bullies. Are you in?
You were in earlier. I'm in.
Yes.
I'm very excited. Good. It's going to be fantastic. I might be a bit dusty.
Are you going to Bucks the day before?
I got a mate's. But yeah. Day off actually. But I'm.
He's not going to make
baby.
it. He's not going to make it.
I will be there. I promise. No, I'm very, very excited. As soon as you messaged, I was like, yeah, I am in for that. I cannot wait. So yeah, super keen. And can I give Bales another shout out as well? We had some drama with our home league in redraft, our redraft home league. We were drafting on the weekend and we lost a coach. We needed someone to step in, and Bales, the man, the myth, the legend, was more than happy to step in and take the 12th spot. So thank you very much, Bales, friend of the show, legend. I do have an embarrassing story about that, but I'm going to save it for our redraft episode. Should I say it or should I just tell you? I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you now.
You just tell it.
Well, I'm the commish of the league. Oh, that was great. You
just tell it.
Giddy up. I'm the commissioner of the league, so there's a bit of responsibility there. Got to organize the troops, get it all going, and because of the visual way the Keeper app is organized, I thought we had 12 coaches in the league for like a month now. Because it has like the rank on the left, first, second, third, all the way down to 11th. And we had our name sitting there, our new coach's name sitting there after the 11th spot. And I just could not work. I was trying to upgrade our bundle to the pro bundle so we could get all the features, and it wasn't working. It was like, you need a 12th coach. And so I was like, well, I got a 12th coach. So I emailed Keeper. And I messaged them on Twitter, and I was like, "Hey,
oh, really?
Yeah." I was like, "Our draft is in a couple hours, guys. Like, you got to sort this out." Only for me to realize that we had, in fact, 11. We were one down, and I had miscounted, and it was all my fault. And so I got a DM from Keeper a couple hours later, being like, "Hey, I was at a wedding. Is it all good?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just dumb." So, thank you, Keeper.
I love that they checked in on you. That's great.
Oh, legends. Absolute legends. Man, we got a good show lined up. I'm really excited about this one. We thought everyone's going over the community series. We'll do a little bit of community series talk just as we go through the topics today. But we thought, seeing as everyone's doing that, it might be a good idea for us to just talk about what the hardest positions are to fill this year. Because you talked to me about this. You had this idea of like, there are particular spots in the defensive line in each line that just seem this year particularly tricky. And we don't quite know what to do about it yet, do we?
No. And like everyone's doing, it's kind of community series review, but our answers really won't come until after this weekend, I think. Getting
I agree.
a free hit of 10 teams.
Excited.
So rather than forecasting players, I think I like the idea of, well, which spots at the moment are giving us the most challenge that we need answered after Sunday night.
And I'm assuming that if we're having these issues, surely everyone is having these issues. So before we get stuck into it, if you dig the content, as always, remember to chuck a follow, 5-star rating if you like it, over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And again, we have a YouTube now. Like, share, subscribe. It'll be the last quick shout out to our free preseason rankings over on the website. Link is in the description. If you have a draft coming, if you're one of those leagues who are like, let's just wait till opening round until we do our draft, you can use those for this final week of the preseason. Without further ado, K-Man, take it away, mate. Should we do this? Should we go line by line or question by question? I don't know.
Yeah. We'll go trade therapy by trade. Trade therapy's back. We haven't made any trades. Oh,
we haven't uploaded the song, have we?
Have we uploaded?
We haven't uploaded it. We're so unprepared.
No. You know what? I'll just do this.
We all know we've all had a therapist who's clapped at us like that, haven't we?
Yeah, that's it.
You've just discovered the presets, haven't
you? I've lost my train of thought. There's all these noises.
Trade therapy,
okay.
hardest positions to fill. You kick us off.
All right. Defensive line, D3, absolute D3. It's. I keep looking at it every day. Practice matches didn't give me the answers. Community series hasn't given me the answers. It has to be this weekend, surely. But at the moment, I've rotated through Rivers, a Windsor, a McCarthy, Alec Berg, Newman, who is the first one to go after being suspended for 2 weeks, Archie Roberts, who's very expensive, looked amazing. I just don't know if I can spend that much with the question marks. I've toyed with a Rosie and Sinclair at D1 and D2 and a Kirch at D3, but this is the one, mate. This is the one. I just don't have the answers yet. What are your thoughts? I mean, we ruled Windsor out a week ago.
We did, and then what did we see?
And then he's back. He's back with the vengeance. McCarthy, I'm worried, but looked amazing. I still worry about West Coast scoring potential.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because when he's on, I mean, he as an individual looks fantastic, but West Coast just got torn apart in that second half.
Couldn't get their hands on it.
No. Even Harley Reid, I was like, all right, I think I'm in. I think I might actually put Harley Reid on field. And then the second half happened, and I thought I can't do it.
Anyone who got his hands on it was Devereaux. Was it 27 disposals? A bit handball happy, but second half was great.
Yeah, it's okay. That's okay. Look, I think you asked what I think, and I think that a lot of you said a lot of names that I'm.
A lot of names.
I have my team on my phone here in front of me, and you said a lot of names that are. You said 4 names that are in my backline right now.
They're all in.
There's a lot of those names in there. And we told each other we're not going to share our teams until we do our team reveal, which is coming next week. But, Roberts is a really interesting one. He's been one that's in and out of there, but at D2, Sinclair, I mean, we've both been hot on Sinclair this season. I think I brought up Sinclair in our first episode of the season. You've been hot on him for weeks now. I know they were playing Essendon and big scores come against Essendon, but we saw the role. He had the role. This was the logic that we've been talking about all preseason of if Nas moves into that midfield, who's the guy who's going to be the commander-in-chief out the back? It's going to be Jack Sinclair. So, I like the idea of a Sinclair being in the defensive line. So I'm with you. Currently, this is what I'll say. My current D3 is Kirch. Which makes my defensive line quite deep. And it's the deepest it's been this preseason. But I've also toyed around with McCarthy. At one point it was Kirch at D2, McCarthy at D3, or vice versa, or whatever. Can I ask you this? Are you struggling with it because you don't know whether to go budget or deep, and it's just unclear as to which is the right call?
The lack of structure I've got is because of those names, in particular Rivers, Windsor, McCarthy. I'm ruling a line through Berg. I still have a Coleman, so everything's going to be dependent on how Coleman goes at D4. So again, we'll probably say it a lot that this weekend's going to dictate a lot of those. I'm almost leaning towards a guns and rooks approach just for that line. Just for that line with, as I said, Rosie looked great. Sinclair looked great. Kirch still hasn't played for a couple of weeks, so we're a bit nervy. And then filling that with a mature age rookie in Blackiston who looked amazing. He looked great.
Yeah, Blackiston looks set to go. Lockie Jacques as well, I would assume, is in there for you.
No, he's out.
No?
At the moment. Again, we'll talk rookies in a second, but structure's going to depend on a Kitty Coleman, but also out of those, shall we say, mid prices in Windsor and underpriced Rivers. Yeah, this is the line. I don't have the answer, and I was hoping you'd hit me with some therapy, but this is the line that's changing constantly.
Look, maybe this is my answer. Actually, is a couple of weeks ago I was on that kind of guns and rooks approach with the defensive line. I think I said this in our group chat that I was feeling like the space where the good rookies were this year seemed to be the defensive line, and so I was more comfortable loading up that defensive line with a Blackiston, like say a Jacques, a Farrow, a Lindsay, and then this week happened. And suddenly I have less faith in these guys. And so now I'm feeling that I want to go for a more balanced approach. Obviously, we need to see some sneaky peeks at opening round. I mean, Jacob Farrow did not fill me with confidence in his game. Josh Lindsay looked fantastic.
He looked great.
He looked great. But again, we've been up and down on him through the preseason too. So for me, I think I'm leaning more towards not going down that guns and rooks approach in the back line, because the idea of having to have three of those guys on field performing, relying on, maybe you can hide behind them in the first few weeks with the early buys, but even so, for me, the interesting question in this back line is Windsor versus Coleman, because I'm like, I don't know that I want both of them.
Well, I've got both at the moment.
You've got both at the moment. See, that's really interesting. That's really interesting, because I've actually not got Coleman in my team at the moment.
Yeah.
I took him out. He's dropped out. It's always been my concern with Coleman that I know we talk about value. The thing with him is we've never actually seen him score well in fantasy. We actually haven't. Like, he's not a player who's broken out. He's a player that we've seen as talent, and we know how good he is in real life. And we go, okay, from a perceived value perspective, he should be able to take this kind of leap and score X amount of points above his average or his break even or whatever. But we still haven't seen it. And within the confines of Brisbane's system, I'm still not totally convinced that he's going to be really, really good. So I've always had that slight question mark on Coleman for my mind. He still presents great value and he could very easily be in there. But when I look at him versus Windsor, exactly. And when I looked at him versus Windsor, I went, Windsor had that role, and that I liked that.
What if? Yeah. What ifs aren't great. Coleman comes out with an 85.
It's probably in.
Yeah. Is he though? I mean, everything you just said. Is that enough?
Well, he's priced at like 52 or something, isn't he? 54?
Yeah.
That's enough. Yeah. 85 is enough for sure. That's 30 points. Well, see, then it becomes a comparison between him and, say, a Caleb Windsor for me. Yep. And I go, well, can Caleb Windsor score the same with a more defined role? Or can he score better with a more defined role? Then maybe I start leaning towards Windsor. We've still got We've still seen evidence of Fletcher playing off halfback this preseason, so we can say, hey, it'd be great for him to play on the wing or in the midfield. We don't know that's going to happen. We've got Zorko, we've got Wilmot, we've got all this plethora of attacking defenders, and I know you've talked about the idea of Coleman being kind of like a Myers type for us. I'm not sure that I see that as a necessity within the system when we've got guys like Bailey, like Rayner. Heck, even even like a Levi Ashcroft or something like that. He's still running in from heck. I never say heck.
I've never heard that you say that ever.
Oh, heck.
It was interesting to hear Fags come out and say that they want to ease him back through halfback.
Yeah, for sure.
In contrast to what was happening. But and I guess what Windsor are we going to get? We've had 2 weeks of a Windsor that didn't impress. Is he too young to have the consistency? We know the role is there.
Could be.
But it's an interesting space this weekend with my D3.
I think the beautiful thing with those is that if you're picking between them and you pick the wrong one and the other one works out, you can do a little fix-up trade fairly easily and sideways that way. My defensive line issue is D1, and it's that I know that I'm going to have Connor Rozee in my team, but where do I put him? And for me, it's a structural question. Is he my D1 or is he my M1? That's the question that I'm left with. D1 kind of offers me more structural balance and allows things to settle across each line, but M1 offers me a lot more flexibility and allows me to go a little bit deeper in the midfield as well. M1 allows me to fit in someone like a Jack Sinclair or a Lockie Whitfield, like something like that, into my back line too. Mini Monk, I know, is pretty big on starting both of those guys. I think I'm off the full value backline thing now. For a while, I was toying with like a Colby McCarthy as a D1, and I'm not comfy with that. So
especially with Colby not playing.
Yeah, it's too much of an unknown, isn't it?
Yep.
And then you talked about like an Archie Roberts or something. I think could be a really fun pick and could be really great, but you don't want him as your D1. It's too much speculation. Not enough value in the picks, so
too much risk.
So that's for me. Is I'm spending the week just flicking Rozee between my midfield and my defensive line. That's my big D line question. How do you feel about that idea? He looked fantastic.
Well, it's the game style I liked. I think the game style actually suits a Butters and a Rozee. That turnover and just go the speed at which they transition through midfield and their interchanging of Butters and Rozee, Horne-Francis hitting half forward. They looked hungry, and I think they're enjoying the new game style and the speed of play. And just to see them in space and their ability to burst through stoppage in waves, I thought was really, really impressive. And probably one of the things that stood out for me on the weekend was Port Adelaide's game style.
I wasn't prepared for them to be good. I wasn't emotionally prepared to be really good, and then they were really good, and I was like, "Oh, damn, this could be fun to watch." How fun was it? 2022 or 2023 when they were just absolutely? It was 23, wasn't it? When they were like a top 2 team, and everyone was wondering whether it was going to be them or Collingwood. That was an exciting season. Like, wasn't Port so fun to watch that season?
I must admit, I've never been. And sorry to those Port fans, a fan watching Port Adelaide play. It's one of those games where I'll watch it for the fantasy, but I really enjoyed the way they played. And if that is their change, I'm going to enjoy watching Port Adelaide this year. And I never thought I'd say that.
That's what we want. Good footy. Can I rattle off some midfield names for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So my question, and I think we actually have the same question.
It's the same, isn't it?
It's the same. Is what do we do about like M6 to M7 range? And my question to myself is like, how deep can we go at midfield? So depending on structure, we could select any of the following names. I think most coaches will have at least one of these guys in their midfield lines. We got Harry Rowson, 544K. Will Brodie might be off now, considering his emergency status on the weekend.
Yep.
A little bit cheaper. Finn O'Sullivan has emerged with some DPP status at 564,000. Xavier Lindsay at 550K. Looks like he's got a decent role. Harvey Langford might have rotated throughout people's teams. Tanner Bruin has emerged. Is he a trap? We don't know, but it's a name to look at. So how many of these guys can we have? One is great, but which one? Can we have two, or is that too many? 3 feels fraught because if 2 of them go wrong, where do you go from there? What's your feeling on this? Because I'm really struggling, and I'm often finding myself having to choose between 2 of these guys and a Jagger Smith, or 1 of these guys and 2 rookies.
Yeah, if I go back 12 months, you had the extra mid-pricer in the midfield. Is that correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. You had 2 or 3 of these guys?
Not in this price range. Like I had 2 or 3 in the kind of upper,
slightly
the much
upper.
more expensive. Yeah, it was like the 700 to 800K kind of thing. Because I had Tom Powell in there, which
That's
I thought
right.
was elite, and then it wasn't.
You
He did well, but I'm not falling for it.
Both powers.
Yeah.
I think what Darcy Parish offers, so he's sitting at my M5 at the moment. I got Rouse and M6. I know we're not sharing, but then I have Jagger Smith, and then at the moment a rookie underneath. But again, my conundrum in the defensive line is then dictating what's happening in that midfield. So I currently have 1. I like the safety in numbers of 1. A Rouston and a Bruin could be okay, but I don't like Bruin's round 3 buy. Is it round 2 buy?
Yeah.
Round 3.
3,
if Bruin didn't have that 1, I think I could consider having both. But just the way the mid-season buys are shaping up, it's 1 for me. Foss looked great. Again, probably didn't have the scoring that he could have. He got burnt a little bit and had a bit more time off ground, but I like him as a footballer in the midfield. Could I be brave enough to pick him? I don't know. And Lindsay, Langford, Brodie's gone. I think it's just 1 at the moment with, as we talked about, perhaps more depth required in a forward line and maybe a defensive line.
Yeah. That was kind of what I was thinking, because I was having 2 of these guys and I was looking at it, and it looked nice in one sense to only have 1 rookie on the field. Yep. But I was just sort of like, well, where do you go from there? That, you'd have to, if one of them goes wrong, you got to downgrade to a rookie anyway, by which point that rookie's probably already put some money on their head. So you'd probably rather just start with that rookie who's going to. So I think I'm with you. I think I've, but again, I don't love a lot of these midfield rookies. And that's the other trouble, isn't it? That's the struggle at the moment, is finding, because like some of those big names, like I haven't got an Annabelle in here anymore. I haven't had a Dersma in here for years. I haven't got a Euland, like slim pickings out there, man. Rowan Steele didn't do it for me on this week.
I thought he was okay, but they're missing 10. One of my things was forward rookies, and then I wrote, actually rookies in general.
Yeah.
apart from Smith, Lindsay, Devrob, Sharp, the new fella Blameers, if he plays.
What a name!
Yeah, it's crazy. Jeez,
outstanding name.
Good. It would be harsh for him to play that well, and then with other players coming back, you go back to the VFL young fella. He was great, mature age rookie.
Because I guess we got Colby coming back, and we got Wardlaw coming back. Hardiman, yeah. So, it'd be Hardman. It'd be Hardiman.
Well played.
Wasn't the best.
Well,
you
can't
in my head.
You can't Blameers a coach for dropping him. That's terrible. This is the worst.
You pulled it off a lot better than me. Oh gosh.
But yes.
So M6.
Can I throw another one at you, Sheldrick? Is this
you've been big on him.
Gold again? Another year,
probably.
another preseason.
I mean, didn't he score like 120 or something ridiculous?
Ridiculous. But he looked good.
117 fantasy points, 32 disposals, 5 tackles, a goal and a behind is outrageous. I mean, I guess
another question. I'm just
out.
throwing questions.
Yeah, do it.
Ralston or Bruin, who's ahead? If you had to go one, if we're talking one.
Yeah, gun to my head now. I think Bruin's upside is bigger, but I think he's riskier. I think Ralston is probably the more safe pick. I think with Bruin, the problem is that depending on where he's flicked to, that's going to determine how well he scores. You know, if he is off half back, then probably we could be looking at a really solid pick. But if he spends too much time in the CBAs or gets stuck out on a wing or something like that, then I think that's dangerous. But I think his scoring potential off half back is probably bigger than Ralston's scoring potential in midfield. Having said that, I think Ralston probably more likely to be that like fourth guy. So it just, I actually don't know. I need more because there's the aggressive, the aggressive redraft part of my brain, because I'm such an aggressive drafter on upside, is I just go for the upside. And if it doesn't work out, move on and figure it out. But in classic, you can't always do that. So I don't know. What are you leaning a Ralston?
Geez, Bruin looked good. He looked really good.
I'm going to say Bruin. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say I'm leaning Bruin currently because of the upside.
Yeah, Ralston's currently in my team, and if it wasn't for that bye, it would probably be Bruin. But if we see a full game for Bruin, it could change everything. Everything's going to be
Ralston's got a bye too, doesn't he?
Yeah, It's just Bruins is the tricky one. But
yeah. Slightly worse by. Okay. What's our next one? So what's our okay. Should we do Rucks? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
We got different
oh my gosh.
conundrums.
This is wild. All right, you kick us off. Take it away.
Okay. So out of an R1 and R2, I think you're targeting an R2. Mine is R1. That's 2 games now. Sherry has looked out of his depth with
it's concerning.
His movement around ground and being included in transition work. And we know he's not that type of ruckman. We were concerned that these rule changes were going to cap his scoring. And that seems to have panned out for 2 games. The added element is the second ruck for North Melbourne. That is either going to be a Coleman Jones, who again looked really good. He looked really good. He's been out-rucked in 2 games. And the only benefit I see to a Tristan Sherry is that series of first 5 games where if we're talking the old Sherry, he would add that upside. But I can't see it at the moment. I'm looking through this fog, trying to see where this clear path for upside scoring is. And I just haven't seen it for an extended period of time now. It's really concerning me.
Do you know how many tackles he got this week?
How many?
1.
Yeah, and it is a pracky
1
game.
tackle.
It is a pracky game. He could be saving it.
He could be.
Not what you want to see.
Well, this is the thing.
Meanwhile, you've got Grundy and English killing it.
Well, and it's so easy for us to say, oh, he's an elite ruckman, he's saving it for the season, whatever, and it sounds good, but no. For the first time this preseason, Tristan Sherry has left my team.
Is he out?
He's out.
He's out of Channel.
He's no longer in Channel. Did we, by the way, have I brought this up? Have I told everyone that I settled on Channel?
No, you haven't. That's why I
haven't brought it up yet. Thank you. So if you've been listening for a while, you know that my team name, I mean, we're big Seinfeld fans here, and my team name for a while was the Van Royen Boys which is a play on the Van Buren boys from Seinfeld. But, I'm not a Melbourne fan. Jacob Van Rooyen also wasn't consistently making the Melbourne team, which made the name feel a bit underwhelming. And I decided to go back to my roots. Chunnell is often my name in various avenues of my life.
We're both...
So I'm laying on Chunnell.
Both our teams are Seinfeld movies. Sack Lunch and Chunnell.
Yep. I've told you before, I've used Sack Lunch before in my in my younger days. So I like it. Great minds. Look, Tristan Sherry's out for me. So we have the same issue now. Okay. We do have the same issue.
So
I'm with you.
No, I won't. So are you starting to think more set and forget in your ruck line?
Let me introduce my conundrum.
Here we go.
There's 3. That's 5. There's 3 ways that I'm looking at this. I'm looking at Eljax. I'm looking at Briggsy. And I'm looking at set and forget. And that's got to be that set and forget has to have one or both of Grundy and English, really. Because if we're talking set and forget, who else are you forgetting? Like, who else are you setting and forgetting other than you can't set and forget a Tom De Koning necessarily. You can't set and forget a Rowan Marshall anymore. Eljax, I've cooled on, but I've come back around to. I wonder if his weekly ceiling is like 90 to 95 in the role that he's got, which is around about where he's priced. So he's probably not going to make a ton of money. But then I sort of went, maybe that doesn't matter if he can get you a safe 90 to 95 and then every 4th week give you a spike game or something. Maybe that's fine as your R2. Briggsy allows way more flexibility, but I just can't trust him. I also think he's really difficult to fix if he doesn't work out. And then I'm hearing a lot of talk about a Lockie McAndrew at R2, and I hate it. I don't like it at all. I understand he's their number 1. My problem is with how cheap he is. Getting up to the next guy at some point in the season, how much money does he and someone else have to make in order for you to get up to a guy that you're comfortable with later? I don't know, there's issues there.
Well, the other issue with that is if you've got him at R2, who have you got at R3?
Well, and this is the thing. I think you've got to have a green dot at R3 if you've got him at R2. You can't have Lockie McAndrew at R2 and then have a red dot, because then if something goes wrong with that Lockie McAndrew pick, you are stuck. So you have to go for someone like a Cooper Duff-Tytler or Liam Reedy. Like, someone else has to be in that R3 spot. Do you agree with that? Is that kind of where your head's at as well?
Yeah, it comes down to if he's my R2, I just don't have the confidence of an R3. And if I haven't got someone at R3 to make any fix-ups, it's too messy. It's too messy to start a season like that.
Totally agree.
It'll be interesting to see team releases this week about a Briggs. I mean, they're playing this week, so it's great to see how he's going to match up against Meekie, who's going to be a tough opponent. We all know what Meek's like as a contested beast, but he's lost weight. Let's see if he can move around ground in Sydney. But it's
huge. If he can put up 90 against Meek with no goals, that'd probably be enough for me to launch and just kind of give it a crack. What about you? What would you have to see from him?
Similar, 90, 95. I just want him named. I want to like. It's
always a good start.
Managed after one pracky match, authentic pracky match is a bit of flag. It's flags. So it means he maybe didn't pull up very well from that particular game, and he spent a lot of time forward. It would have been great to see that second match heading into round 0, but the ruck line is a concern at the moment, because if you're setting and forgetting, then again, the implications for your depth of forward line, which we'll get into.
Oh, exactly.
The D3, the amount of rookies you're going to have to field, because that money is going to be invested in your rucks.
Yeah.
So
the name I have settled on in my ruck line after all that, I think is Luke Jackson. I think I'm just going with it. And I said like a week ago, yeah, well,
because your argument during the week was that Mason Cox is now rucking, and if Sean Darcy comes back, is the full-time midfielder and forward Luke Jackson going to sustain the 90, 95, 100 scoreline each week? So what's your shift?
Well, I'm not convinced that all three of them are in the team at once. I feel like Darcy or Cox is depth, is the other's depth. And I feel like it's going to be one of them plus Luke Jackson is probably in the weekly team. I think I've seen enough in the preseason. We know enough about how good Luke Jackson is that I feel confident that he can put up 90 to 95 with one of those guys in the team, given the role that he's got. And if one of them goes, like, if Mason Cox goes down with injury, well, Sean Darcy's like one calf strain away from going down as well at that point. So I kind of see that as potential upside later. And I know we shouldn't be counting on injury, and I'm not meaning to count on injury, but I guess what I'm saying is that 90 to 95, I've just, given how much issue we're having with this line, I've just decided that I'm okay with that. And I know that that's not a ton of value. I know that that means his price probably he won't raise in a lot of value. And I think I've just got to, if I'm going to start him, I'm going to accept that he's a safe floor play with weekly upside potential. And that at least gives me some level of security in combination with a big dog at R1.
Because I think we're actually anticipating from what we've seen in the last couple of weeks that these prices in rucks are going to go down.
Yeah.
And until they get acclimatized to the season or whether we see game styles shift at stoppage, I think we're going to see some ruck prices really drop.
Should we talk forward line?
Yeah, forward line. So I think we've got the same conundrum. It's that F5 space. F5, and looking at it today, I'm on the idea of adding more depth. And if I'm going to have a rookie, it's at F6, and that F6 at the moment is locked away after what I saw on the weekend with a Dev Rob.
Yep.
The lack of forward rookies does concern me. I mean, Lombard seems locked away. Doveston had to kick 4 goals. Newton got injured with an ankle. So the depth of rookies in the forward line is a concern. The Titler was sitting there, and I think he's a cracking player. He is going to be a very, very good player, but he also looks like his scoring could be quite volatile.
I agree.
And we could see some weeks of 20s, 30s, 40s. So this is the line I'm starting to add more depth, but it's from F4, F5, particularly F5, that I'm having the challenges with each week. And I'm sure you're going to rattle off some of these names, but I'm even pushing having a Josh Rochelle at an F5.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I think with what we've seen I called Josh Rochelle fool's gold earlier in the season. And I think I'm changing my tune on that a little bit. I think I'm actually coming around to believing what I'm seeing. I mean, Matty Nix he didn't BS us last year about Isaac Rankin. They did exactly what they said they were going to do with Isaac Rankin. It cooled as the season went on, but he came out and he was essentially a midfielder at the beginning of the season, and they've been talking up Josh Rochelle all preseason. I don't see what they have to gain by lying about that. I think it was Warney I was just listening to this afternoon who was making that exact same argument. The only concern with Rochelle is that Rankin is out with suspension, and what happens when both of those guys come back in. That's the concern. But I wonder if it could be what we anticipate, say, like a Petrarca Humphrey situation to be, where they kind of just, interchange with one another. Well, anyway, look, you said I was going to rattle off some names. So
let's hear it.
This is the list I think everyone is probably looking at. And there are a lot of names here.
Yeah.
Connor Buderick.
We've gone from a forward line that was starved to now who do we pick?
We got everything.
It's all there.
It's almost more frustrating, to be honest. We got a Connor Buderick has now put his hand up at really nice price. Like at $506K, it is hard to go past. We've got Connor McDonald still sitting there. We've got Josh Rochelle, Joel Frazier. Mateus Philippou, Max Hall, Riley Sanders put his hand up again. Is he a trap? Who knows? Elijah Hollins, yes, I said it. And you know what? He is a good player, and he could be. I'm actually serious. Elijah Hollins, I rated him very highly, 18 months ago. Issues in his personal life meant things didn't eventuate, but I stand by the fact that he was primed for a bit of a breakout. He put up an exceptional score with a caveat. Anyway, Sam Lawler, Harvey Thomas. So we've got all these names. A few of these guys, I saw your face, C-Mac. I'm cooling on him as well. I just don't know that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. No, he's not in my team. I just think Sam Mitchell.
Yeah.
I just don't trust him. I think he's going to flick things around a bit. I don't think we can count on the amount of midfield minutes. I'm not even convinced that C-Mac is going to have the role that I want him to have outside the context of the midfield. I don't know. I just don't want to mess with the Hawthorn midfield personally. So who do we pick is my question. And how many can we safely choose? Because I can tell you now, I currently have 3 of these guys in my forward line, and I don't like that because it's come at the sacrifice. I no longer have a Christian Petrarca to fill one of those forward line spots, and so that's meant I need to pick an extra one of these cats.
I've got 2. I want 2 at the moment. So
yeah,
I think Pooh in the mid did enough for mine to secure a spot at the moment. I thought he looked good. Plenty of disposals. I was concerned the week before, but it was great to see that in preseason we want role, we want clarity, we want job security, we want opportunity, and I think all of them are there for the Pooh. He's been a popular player for the coaching staff for the last couple of years, so he's locked at the moment in F4. And I really liked Connor Buderick's game. I really did. I think he's an exceptional footballer. His disposal efficiency, his ability to thread the needle, shall we say, with 15, 20-meter kicks and passes. I really enjoyed his game. It's what he does this weekend, and again, with some players coming back. Bailey Dale, how does that fit? Josh Shelley, it's out of those 2 for mine for that last slot. And you're right, if a Rankin comes back, Nixie's done it before. He's done it before where Rankin was going to play full midfield. Then halfway through the season, that game style shifted to a more contested game. So I'm down to those 2 at the moment. Rochelle and Buderick are fighting for F5 with a Dev Rob at F6.
Yeah, no, I'm interested in. I'm very interested in both those guys. I've cooled on names like Joel Frazier. I had an interesting logic, and I agree with you on Philippou. I think he's done enough. I had an interesting logic. If you're still keen on Frazier or Sanders, Frazier or Hall, for example, I was like, well, if we got a situation where both Hall and Philippou did really well, and both Frazier and Sanders did really well, my logic was you pick both of Frazier and Sanders, or you pick both of Philippou and Hall. I figure one from each team should work out, and then you just do the little swapperoo of the one that doesn't work. You just do a little fix-up trade. But that was when I thought all 4 of them might have good pracky games. Is Sanders a guy that you're happy to trade into if he turns out to be really good post his bye? As a fix-up trade with a pick that, let's say you pick a mid-pro, let's say Rochelle doesn't work out. I would rather start Rochelle and wait to see what Riley Sanders does because of what happened last year. And then I figure if Rochelle's not working out after round 3 or whenever it is, take Riley Sanders then once he's had his bye and get on with it.
Yeah, with best 18 for so many rounds, I think we have capacity to be able to fix these trades up. We have so many trades. So, and that's the first bit of strategy that we encourage these coaches to do is in the first 3 rounds. You've got to fix these players up if perhaps you've chosen the wrong one. And that's been the challenge this year. It's not just 50-50 calls. We're talking calls where, in the 3 spot, in the F5 spot. We're looking at 3 to 4 guys here. We're looking at 3 to 4, and that's why this year has just been so much more challenging, the uncertainty of the ruck line. So it's great that we've got this many trades that we can fix these up in our first 3 rounds.
I just want to I just want to go back to Elijah Hollins for a second.
Yeah, let's hear it. He looked hungry. He did.
Do you know how much he scored? Do you know what score he came out with? 108. He scored 108 fantasy points. Now, my caveat here is that he did it off of 19 disposals, 18 of which were kicks. So it was a kick to handball ratio of 18. But let's say 5 of those are handballs. He's still scoring akin to his brother Ollie at like 91 points. He's averaged 85 over his last 7 games that he's played. He's averaged 85. That's an adjusted score excluding a red vest game. So his last 5 games, AFL and non-AFL games, he's averaged 85. His last 5 AFL games, he's averaged 82. I'm probably not starting him. I'm just putting that out there. I'm probably not starting him. But he costs less than $700,000. He's priced at like 67 points, and he's averaging 82 points in his last 5 AFL games. And frankly, in 2024, I mean, if I just do this real quick, from round 11 onwards, and I'm only saying that because that's what's open on my screen in front of me now, he averaged 81 fantasy points. So he's a guy with built-in upside. He started the game at half forward, I believe. I was watching, because I went and I rewatched, and I was watching really closely for him specifically. He started at half forward, but I think he actually moved to half back after that. And that's when he started kind of doing his points. So that's a key sort of thing, is like where he ends up could kind of depend his score. But he's going to be one I'm watching. Definitely. I picked him up on waivers in redraft tonight just to have on my bench. But I don't know. I don't think he's a nothing.
Well, here's the thing. There's no Newman for 2 rounds, and Carlton goes Sydney, and then they go into Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
So my question, if he goes bang, 80 to 85, is that enough in his price cycle to have him for, say, 3 or 4 rounds and then upgrade after his bye? Maybe he plays those 2, make some cash. There's probably just not enough rounds.
Not sure. Probably not quite.
For it to be a short-term value play because of that bye. And then obviously
his bye is a stinger for sure. Yeah. His bye is a stinger. I just wanted to put some respect on the boy's name. Yeah. Anyway, because I do really like how he goes about his business on the field. Actually, do you want to talk rookies?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned it earlier. We got some clarity about some of these rookies. I mean, Jagger Smith has to be the most owned player in the AFL.
Top 30 midfield.
After a couple of weeks. Lindsay looked really good for West Coast.
Yep.
Dev Robb looked really good in a midfield. Let's hope that role continues. Sharp has been doing okay, the B Sharps. My boy Blamiers, if he gets picked. Apart from that, is there any other standouts? Any other standouts that I may have missed? Yeah, Dirksen
in Carlton, perhaps.
As a defensive, what is he, 230k rook in the defensive line?
230k rook in the defensive line. He scored 83, but again, no Newman in the team. Yeah. Who knows if that's something we can trust, but I think he's worthy of consideration considering the lack of rookie options.
Dersma is or was sitting in my utility. I thought I saw enough. Where his quality and his ability to get around ground. I was surprised by his aerobic capacity, actually. His ability to get around ground for 4 quarters, take some contested marks. I actually didn't mind it. So if there's any of the first year rookies who I have some confidence in, 350k, he's probably the one. But again, we're worried about the spread of scores with West Coast.
Yeah, I'm still pretty confident in Dyson Sharp. not as an on-field rookie. I don't want him on field, but I'm pretty confident and comfortable with him as a cash cow on the bench. Obviously, he didn't light the world on fire necessarily, but I think he's going to have job security, and I think he'll have games where he does play really well. He kind of might be, I guess maybe the concern with him is, does his scoring look a little bit like a Harley Reid in his debut year, or like a Lawler last year or something, where not because he's the same kind of player, but simply because that's what his capacity is within the confines of the system.
Yeah.
But I'm still very comfortable at this stage having him as a bench rookie option.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I guess that comes into this last discussion about what structure look like. We've preached all preseason that these rookies are going to dictate some structure, how we shape these D3s, F4s, F5s are going to dictate structure. So do you want to have a bit of a chat about what your current structure looks like heading into opening round?
Yeah, for sure. So, and this is where I think I told you before the pod that everything had changed. I did the prep for this episode and then everything had changed. But these were the questions I had coming in. I still kind of have some of them. So I've been kind of looking at like three, primarily over the preseason, I've been looking at sort of like three structures, right? Or three issues. I've been considering that idea. I'd been considering that idea of a budget defense, prioritizing most of the promising rookies seem to be in defense this year. I mentioned earlier that we've kind of moved on from that. So I think where I'm firming now is I've got, let's say one. Okay, who do you count as do you count a Colby as like an underpriced premium, or do you count him as more like a high-end mid-pricer?
No, I think he's an underpriced premium now with the role that he's got.
Yeah, okay. So I would say I've got three underpriced premiums, a mid-pricer, and two rookies in my defensive line currently, counting Blackiston as a rookie. My midfield, I'm looking at I'm looking at five underpriced premiums, and then like a mid-pricer and two rookies, or two mid-pricers and a rookie. I'm not sure on that, but these are those like low-end, kind of like 400 to 550K guys. Ruck, I'm looking at an Uber guy plus L-Jacks, and then my forward line, I'm looking at currently I've got two underpriced premiums, three mid-prices, and a rookie.
And
I don't know how I feel about this version right now, because the three mid-prices in the forward line feels tricky.
So you've taken out a primo in your forward line to fit that.
Yeah. So I had. Well, it's not necessarily to fit the mid-pricer in; it's to fit the. I know we're not sharing our teams, but I've currently got a Jack Sinclair sitting at D1, and so as a result of that, I've moved Connor Rozee to my M1 to fit Jack Sinclair at D1 and shift that Rozee to the M1. Someone had to make space. I haven't loved what I've seen from Track so far, so I've removed him from my team. And as a result of that, I've just kind of had to put a mid-pricer in there. Having said that, I've got a couple $100K in the bank. So it's not like I couldn't afford to do something more. It's also, for me, that question of how much money do I want to take into round one? And for me, I really like the idea of having about 150 to 200K, because if I'm going into round one with like 50 grand and something horrible happens, that makes me feel anxious.
Yeah, okay. So my strat is slightly different. I probably have less money in the bank, which is actually starting to make me feel nervous. Mm-hmm. So in the defensive line, two underpriced primos, two mid-prices, and two mature age rooks.
Yep.
In the mids, I've got four underpriced premiums, two mid-prices, and two rookies. What do you classify Parrish?
Underpriced premium is I've classified him. So that's what, so he's my fifth underpriced premium.
I guess Parrish and McKercher, they're kind of that borderline, aren't they? But we are talking about Darcy Parrish here as being a primo in the past. Ruck, I have an underpriced primo, and I've just put Briggs. I don't have a classification for him at R2. And then
I'm Toby.
forwards.
I'm Briggs.
My name is Jeff. And the forwards, I've got
Jeff.
1 primo, 2 underpriced premiums, 2 mids, and a mature age rookie.
So how do you feel about carrying? Is it 50 grand you got in the bank?
I don't even have that much.
Okay. How do you feel about
Oh, wait
that?
a minute. That's right. No, I put Briggsy back in. So I got about 184. Sorry. No,
Well, that's
changed
healthy.
that. Yeah.
That's healthy. I'd feel comfortable with 184, but I wouldn't feel comfortable with Briggsy. And I think that's my conundrum is I don't feel comfortable with Briggsy. And so if I put him in, then I can bring in a track or another forward to kind of make my forward line feel a little better. But then I have Briggsy in the team and I probably have less confidence in him than I do in, one of these other mid prices who I feel like, because there are so many of these mid-priced options in the forward line, my hope is that there are more that go right that I can pivot to if I get them wrong. But maybe that's leaving too much to chance. I don't know.
What are your thoughts on Marshall from Port?
Todd Marshall. How did he do on the weekend? He had a lockdown role, didn't he?
No, he took a lot of intercept marks. He had about 80-odd AFL fantasy points, 394.
Can he do it consistently is the question.
That's the question.
And what's he priced at, actually? Do you know?
I
don't know off the top of my head.
No.
Hang on, I'll pull him up real quick. Todd Marshall, 394, 38. Well, his break-even's 38. Is that his price stat preseason? Anyway, break-even 38. So, I mean, look, he doesn't have to do 82 every week when he's priced at 40 points. What would he have to do as a minimum for you, like 65? Or is that,
for that
too yucky?
That's too awkward. That's where you go.
Pretty yucky.
Oh, this could go dire with a 40-odd point game. So,
yeah,
I know Louis big on him. I liked what I saw, but for that reason you just said, if he comes out round 1 and pulls out a 60, you're like, ugh.
If he comes out round 1 and pulls a 73, probably happy with that.
You don't get the free shot because they're not round 0. So that would be a risk.
Oh yeah,
you would go in moot. You'd go in blind.
You've already picked him. You're happy if he pulls out a 73 because you've already picked him and it's fine.
That's it.
Yeah, look, I'm probably not going to Todd Marshall, although I do listen to a lot of the Pod boys, so I don't know. Enough Louis, and he'll maybe I will. Well, for our first trade therapy, I don't know if we've answered any of our questions.
But this is why I'm loving, like, preseason. I wouldn't say it was dragging on, but this week is why I love preseason. Just the chats that you can have with your mates, the pods you listen to. There's so many different perspectives. There's so many 50-50 calls right now. This is the bit I really like.
There's been a lot of injection, hasn't there, suddenly? I feel like we've had a pretty stale this preseason, and it's all of a sudden it's come alive with options. And I think we're going to see, because of this ruck stuff, I think we're actually going to see some pretty unique teams this year. I think that's going to be really good. We done?
Exciting. Yeah. Let's bring on.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Done. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, everybody. Enjoy the content. Give us a follow. Contest Fantasy Footy Show, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. You know where to find us. You can follow K-Man on Twitter at K-Man_TC Fantasy. You can follow me on Twitter at Contest Fantasy. Next episode, it's our final full-length redraft episode of 2026. We're going to review our home league draft and talk about how we went. I still don't know how I feel. We'll find out. But we're also going to go over season-long redraft strategy.
Yes.
Very exciting. K-Man, have you pushed the button?
No, I thought you were going to add more to that. but I can do.
That's all I've got.
Okay. I thought you were going to talk about the classic episode.
What's the classic episode? Oh, the team reveal.
Yeah.
Oh, it's team reveal. It's team reveal week. That's very exciting. That's very exciting. It's a very nerve-wracking episode too, because it's where we opened ourselves up to Twitter abuse. See you later.